There we go. Love that it now announces it. All right, and then I am going to go ahead and start sharing my screen just to do a brief overview for everybody here. Let me know if you can see my screen. There we go. Can everybody see that okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. Yep. Thank you. All right, there we go. All right, so thank you, of course, everybody that's on here this afternoon for one of our Tech Hub workshops. This is actually, as we were just discussing before we were recording, is that this is actually a very hot topic right now. So I'm really happy to be able to have Ashley Kays on with us to kind of go through some of today's topic, crypto economics, so crypto, Bitcoin, and blockchain. We actually recently did a panel discussion all on Bitcoin and blockchain. And again, it was a very hot topic. So I'm really happy to have, again, Ashley on with us to kind of dive a little bit deeper into this. So a little bit about our organization. First things first, before I kind of go into it, for anybody that hasn't seen, it was actually just announced publicly yesterday morning. Tech Hub South Florida and South Florida Tech, what's now known as Tech Lauderdale, have actually merged and become one organization. So we are going to be known as South Florida Tech Hub, or Tech Hub for short. So just wanted to let everybody know, you're probably going to see a lot of news coming out about it and just kind of different stuff to let everybody know what's going on through the merger, but really excited. And again, that's brand new news. So you're one of the first people to hear. So a little bit about our organization. So our mission statement is building South Florida's tech hub. And I want to talk a little bit about how we go about doing that. In short, we do have a community creed, and we want everybody to feel welcome to the table. We want to make sure that we put inclusivity first. As you notice, we have the transcript available through our workshops and different events. And of course, we started adding ASL interpretation as well. So we're trying to be more and more an inclusive and accessible organization as we possibly can, and hopefully leading that charge in technology for South Florida. And when it comes to oh, for some reason it's not switching to the next screen. There we go. When it comes to our organization, so we are a South Florida organization, Miami-Dade through Martin County. So we are a nonprofit as well, 501c6. We do have also another nonprofit that's under our umbrella called Code Palm Beach, which is our coding for kids K through 12. It's all program and development related. We actually, as we just pushed out regionally the organization into all of South Florida, we are going to soon be doing the same thing for Code Palm Beach. So soon you'll have some exciting news there as well. And basically, you know, our whole purpose as an organization is to foster a community of technology, innovation, and creativity within the region. So I want to talk a little bit about our members and how we go about doing that. So here are just a few of our members: UKG, Office Depot, Carrier for Crystal, Jupiter Medical Centers, probably some of the more recognizable names like PGA. But then we do work with a lot of startup companies that are just getting started in the ecosystem as well, such as Boca Code, which is a local coding school. So we kind of have a little bit of everybody in between. And as far as for our membership, so we've got currently about 200 corporate members, and we offer different benefits such as resume distribution, speaking opportunities, of course, such as the workshops like today, member exclusive peer groups and events, and so on. So if anybody is interested in any membership or has any questions, please feel free to reach out and let me know. I'd be happy to have a call with you. And just a little bit about our events. So right now, we alternate every other Monday night. We have tech talks that are typically more technical discussions that we move around the region. So we have West Palm Beach, Boca Raton, Fort Lauderdale, and Miami. We actually have one coming up on this coming Monday, September 13th, in Miami at CIC Miami. And it's going to be a part of the Machine Learning and AI Meetup Week. We're actually the first event of the series of events, so we're really happy to kick that off. And we actually have representatives from Cloudhesive representing AWS, Microsoft, and also IBM. So that should be a really cool panel discussion. Then our community coffees and our podcast, we alternate every other Tuesday with each other. The community coffees are panel discussions. They're kind of all across the board. It can be technical, it can be something on talent retention, personal, professional development. We've had all sorts of discussions with our panel discussions. And the podcast, we typically highlight people that are here regionally, business, funding or investing, technology, innovation, any type of people within those spaces that are in leadership capacities. And of course, last but not least, our lunch and learns, such as today. We have them every Friday from 12 to 1. For anybody that's looking for a job opportunity. So on our website, we got a tab that says talent. There's actually a job board there with listed jobs with a lot of our member and partner companies. But if for some reason you're looking through the jobs and you don't see something that matches perfectly what you're looking for and you just want to get your resume out there, there's a sub tab that actually says resume distributor that you can actually create a little short profile, upload your resume, and once you hit submit, it goes to all of our member and partner companies at once. And last but not least, we have a very active Slack channel. There's about 4,500 members currently on there. It's techhubsouthflorida.org/Slack. And then we also have a e-newsletter that goes out every Monday afternoon. Keeps you, of course, up to date with different news going on within the region, different events, partner events, and also resources for startup companies as well. If you'd like to be added to that, you can actually just text us your email. And you can text that to 561-250-7206. And I am going to stop sharing my screen so I can hand it over to you, Ashley, if you want to introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about your background, and then please feel free to share your screen and take it away.
Sure. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to see everyone here, and I'm really happy to see you. It's been too long.
Yes.
So hi, everyone. My name is Ashley, and I've worked in technology for many, many years. I started originally when I was 15, so it's really been a lifelong passion for me. And a few years ago, I started a company called CodeTeachers. I started that out of inspiration of what it was like for me to have access to technology and being able to create things, and it really changed my life. So I wanted to offer that to other kids, especially I started with my own kids and it grew organically. And then a few years ago, I also became really interested in crypto and actually started it as a project with my dad. My dad's one of my best friends. He's blind. So whenever he wants to do trading, I usually serve as his hands. So I learned a lot about trading from him for many years since high school. So it's been a passion, another passion, thanks to him. So a few years ago, we were doing some fun things with crypto. And when I realized what was possible, I really wanted to help other people make money too. So it's not just money, but there's technology, but there's a lot of opportunity here. And I want to share that with you, and hopefully, some return will come for you as well. So in addition to me, there are two others. Ron Richards, he's also my partner in CodeTeachers and CryptoTeachers, and John Chen. So each of us do something different. I'm really the education, perspective. And Ron and John are really experienced, expert real estate investors. So they teach a lot of how to go from real estate to crypto and back and forth so that, you can invest and be successful in multiple areas. So let me share this with you guys. So I already told you about us. So really, I'm going to start with cryptocurrency, and I hope that I don't go too basic for anyone. I apologize if I do. I just want to give a little bit of an overview to begin. So as you know, most likely, cryptocurrency is really a form of payment that can be used to exchange goods and services, just like fiat money. So you would think of it in some cases kind of like arcade tokens or casino chips, but cryptocurrency cannot be counterfeited. So whereas the US dollar can be counterfeited, it's not possible to fake Bitcoin because of the characteristics of its protocol, as well as miners. So there are lots of rules that provide resistance to counterfeiting. And it's not just code or a mathematical solution, but miners, agents that are machines with high processing power, and they check transactions at random and basically prevent counterfeiting. So the cool thing about cryptocurrency, and one of the reasons I'm talking to you about it today, is that it's really the only asset in recorded history that's produced this kind of return on an investment in 10 years. So if we put that in perspective, the S&P 500 has earned 201% and gold earned 32% in that same time frame. So you can see that although cryptocurrency is volatile, definitely, there is a lot of money to be made if you're careful and you never invest money that you don't have to lose. So one of the first things that I want to tell you is that I'm not a licensed trader. I actually am working on my license, but I'm not a licensed trader. So I'm not allowed legally to make any suggestions. I'll tell you what I'm doing, but just so you know, much of it is my opinion or things I've learned. So when we talk about cryptocurrency, there are basically three things. There's currencies like Bitcoin, Litecoin, and IOTA. There's a platform such as Ethereum, which is software that you can build on. You can build ICOs and other cryptocurrencies. And then the other piece is blockchain technology. So it's a way to improve records, medical records, real estate, agriculture, et cetera. So cryptocurrencies work using a technology called blockchain. And blockchain is basically a decentralized technology spread across many computers that manages and records transactions. And one of the most appealing parts about it is the security. So there is a quick little video. I was going to show you just a little bit of this, but this will be shared out so you guys can watch it on your own. I don't want to make you watch the whole thing. Let me make sure I have my sound correct here. I think I have it set to come through the system. Hopefully.
The internet is cool, but it's also completely broken. Mass data breaches, phishing attempts, credit card fraud, and the massive wholesale shoplifting of your own personal information happening nearly every time you visit a website. Enter blockchain, the mystical, magical solution to all of these problems and more. Here's how it works and the problems it solves. Blockchain is the answer to a question we've been asking since the dawn of the internet. How can we trust what happens online? How do we control the data we put online? In simple terms, blockchain is a distributed database that maintains a list of records. These records are called blocks. Each block contains the history of every block that came before it, down to the second it was edited. In effect, chaining those blocks together. Hence, blockchain. The other thing you need to know is that this whole operation is end-to-end encrypted. Every transaction is linked to a unique cryptographic signature that's easy to verify and nearly impossible to falsify, because blockchain is maintained by a scalable network of computers, often called nodes worldwide, which are in composite referred to as a blockchain network.
It's a network of computers that maintain this file, right, which is an append-only log.
The internet is cool, but it's...
Sorry. Okay, let me stop that. So there's a lot more to it, and it's very interesting. I definitely recommend that video. I like it because it uses Legos. So that's cool. You're taking something really complex and something not so complex, putting them together to explain the story. It's pretty fun. So in this presentation, I also go into a bit more detail about what type of database blockchain is, and there's so much to know and not that much time. So I'm going to show you some things, but if anybody's interested or would like more information, I did include my email. It's Ashley@CodeTeachers. And I'm not looking to charge you or anything. I would just love to have friends and talk about blockchain and cryptocurrency and answer questions and help you. I mean, we do have some educational courses as well, but I'm happy to just talk and kind of give my opinion and also learn from you anytime. So the video just explained a little bit about blockchain. Here's a couple additional graphics about it. One of the things that is also really beneficial about this technology are smart contracts. So smart contracts are basically a really powerful application of blockchain technology. Sorry, I have to drink some water. I'm getting tongue-tied. So these contracts are really just computer programs that oversee all aspects of an agreement from facilitation to execution. So when certain conditions are met, smart contracts can be entirely self-executing and self-enforcing. So it can save a lot of time. Bit more detail about that. So why does this exist? In 2008, the US government was really having a lot of problems, if you remember. And at that time, no, I'm sorry, banks, the US banks were having a lot of problems. And at the time, if the government had not intervened, we would have had banks failing. And at that time, we were just printing more money and more money. So enter Satoshi Nakamoto. And the concern was, what do we do if the dollar is worth zero? So what can we do? So one of the things, as an example, gold, there's silver and gold. So we keep that as another asset besides dollar that has value. But cryptocurrency was created to exist as a hedge against currencies and to protect and provide an alternative currency. There's something like 40% of the world doesn't actually have a bank account. That's in the whole world. So if you don't have a bank account, it's not very easy to perform certain types of transactions. So assuming they have access to technology, this is what cryptocurrency can do for them. So now I'm going to talk a little bit more about the trading perspective of this. So this is where do I start? Now, blockchain in itself is an amazing technology. There's so much that you can do, so many innovative ways to improve industries, and definitely recommend that. There's some great courses on that. One that I recommend besides ours is actually on Udacity, and it's really good actually. They teach actually how to develop using blockchain, and they teach a lot about Bitcoin, and it's actually a pretty easy to follow, fun course, and you leave with a functional project, which is pretty cool. Also, totally recommend Boca Code too. I just don't think this is on the plan quite yet, hopefully soon. Okay. So at this crucial time, telling someone about Bitcoin isn't just financial advice, it's life advice. And that's so true. Getting involved now, I guarantee you'll thank yourself later. So everyone should have a percentage of their net worth in cryptocurrency, regardless of if you're worth, $2,000, $2 million, $200 million. It's a way to hedge yourself against the dollar being devalued. And it's also a way to position yourself for wealth in the future. In addition to cryptocurrency, definitely would recommend diversifying in gold and silver as well. So how do you know which coins? There are a lot of coins, somewhere around more than 10,000. And there are many, 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 many. And there's a few ways that you can make decisions. One of the most popular tools that we leverage is called Coinmarketcap.com. Some of you may have used it. Some of you may not. Let me just show it to you really quickly. So CoinMarketCap is really an information resource that details information about coins. It shows market cap percentages. You can see Bitcoin here at the top. It shows overall the total market and then a coin's percentage of that market. And it's just an amazing resource in terms of charts and which exchanges you can find coins on that you might want to trade. We'll get to that in a second. So that's the first thing I do every single time I'm going to perform a trade. I always go and look at CoinMarketCap, even if I already know what I want to buy. I just go over, I take a look, and I just look at trends and I double check myself. So for example, I'm looking at Bitcoin. Right now it's at 45. It was at 51 the other day. It's been kind of tumultuous. My dad and I got in, I think, somewhere around the 4,000 mark. So, we've had a lot of ups and downs, but we can't really complain because it's far ahead of where it started. I think there was something said, one of the first transactions or the first transaction using Bitcoin was a pizza. And they said if that pizza, the value of it today would be like $100 million with the amount of Bitcoin that they paid at the time. So that's pretty cool. So you can see here, there's charts and quite a bit of information. You can see local news, things that are happening, and then which exchanges you can trade Bitcoin Bitcoin markets, and then what other coins that people are watching, and news, like I mentioned. There's just a lot of great detail, and it's totally free. So it's definitely a resource worth leveraging. So next thing, let me make my screen big again. Sorry about that. So once you've leveraged CoinMarketCap, one of the important things to do is, as you're deciding which coins you want to add to your portfolio, and there's some great advice out there, and I'll show you some places to look, you want to make sure that you diversify yourself. So try to get a little bit of each kind: currency, platform, blockchain based, because we don't actually know which are going to make it. We can make predictions, we can follow signals, but diversifying is the safest way to make sure that long-term your portfolio is going to look great. So how do we diversify? Currencies, Bitcoin, Litecoin, leverage platforms, Ethereum, blockchain, AGI, IOTA. So once you're ready to go ahead and take the jump, dive in, they've made it really, really easy now to get involved with cryptocurrency. And generally, a lot of people start by buying Bitcoin. So the first thing that you would do is open an account at either Coinbase or Robinhood or Binance. I have Binance a little smaller because they were always my absolute favorite, but recently they've had a little bit of trouble in terms of some investigations related to some IRS things. So just being a little more careful about leveraging that platform with money right now. So Coinbase, Robinhood, totally safe and vetted. Coinbase is a little more expensive, but they can't make it much easier. And there's also Coinbase Pro. So I'll show that to you.
Ashley,
so once you, sure, go ahead.
Sorry, let me know, because I don't know if this is the perfect time, but I do have a question in chat for you. Did you want me to ask that now or wait till like Q&A at the end?
Sure, go ahead. I can't see the questions. I'm sorry.
No problem. I was gonna read it out to you. So Mark, he asked in chat, he said, he's not sure how to best ask the question, but he said, how did the coins gain quote unquote like value? He said that he's been reading about how credit cards, how people are using credit cards to gain coins. Does that mean that the coins purchased with credit cards are credit-based coins or negative versus value? Versus, he said negative value versus a positive value, like $1.
It's really interesting, actually, because there are so many coins. The answer is that some actually are based on something physical. So in general, a coin has value because, well, actually, I'm going to answer that. Let me keep going, and I'm going to show you in just a moment, and I'll come back to it if I don't fully answer it. So I don't want to stumble now and then explain something and be redundant later, but it's coming soon, I promise. So once you've created your account, and they make it so easy to do this on Coinbase now. So let's say you're going to create your Coinbase account. Let me show you something here really quickly. I'm going to head over here, Coinbase. I have a demo account here. So the first thing that you do literally is go to coinbase.com. They ask you a few questions to verify your identity and make sure that you set up two-factor. And you can, if they verify your identity successfully, you can start trading within hours. It used to take a few days to get vetted. Now it's pretty quick, which is awesome. And they have a great mobile app too. So it's really easy to move forward same day. So once you have an account, I'm actually going to show you the non-pro. It is even easier. Just going to head over to coinbase.com. So you can use your same account at Coinbase or Coinbase Pro. And I just have a demo here. Again. Sorry, two-factor. Sorry, I'm a little rusty with these talks. Okay, so once you've gone to coinbase.com, you've created your account. When you're ready, you can literally click at the top and click buy. And it asks you, well, what do you want to buy? And it's already set to allow you to buy Bitcoin immediately. You can see that that's the coin that's selected. And then you can choose how much you want to buy. Once you do this, it shows you a preview, gives you some information about what it's going to cost to acquire this. You click buy now, you're a cryptocurrency holder. It's pretty simple. And the great thing is that Coinbase and Robinhood serve as your cryptocurrency wallet. So it's pretty handy. Okay, so I'm sure you know this, but you can buy fractional amounts. You don't have to buy a whole Bitcoin, which is nice to get started. So if you need to purchase coins that are not on Coinbase or Robinhood, it's a little more involved. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to buy Bitcoin. And then once you have Bitcoin, you're going to send it over to the other exchange. So Coinbase, the other exchange is going to give you an address. You're going to receive that address. You're going to use that address and tell Coinbase where to send that, that asset. So basically, if you're using Coinbase and Binance, and you want to move it to Binance, you're going to go onto Binance and you're going to get the information for a deposit. You're going to go over to Coinbase and send that information over to Binance. So basically you're withdrawing from Coinbase and depositing into Binance. Once you've done that, you'll have Bitcoin on the other exchange. And then you could purchase the coin that you wanted to buy so that you're ready to trade. So you would buy that coin in terms of Bitcoin. So you'd use your Bitcoin to buy another coin. So it's pretty straightforward, even though it sounds a little funny. So the third step in getting started is pinpointing your opportunities. So there's really two primary ways to figure out what, well, maybe more, but let's start with two primary ways that you can decide what coins you want to invest in. So the first one is the supply demand curve between buyers and sellers. And this is what gives, let's say, for example, Bitcoin value. There is a demand for Bitcoin, and this demand creates value and causes Bitcoin to rise higher and higher and higher in price. Some coins are based on technology. So let's say, for example, an exchange has a coin. That exchange might give rewards to its participants, to its users. And those rewards may come from the value of their coin. And that coin then can be diversified. Let's say the returns from that coin can be diversified across the members or the users of that particular site. So that's one way. There are some that are based on physical materials. I think in the Middle East somewhere they were using gold. There was a gold-backed coin. There's coins that are backed that are really closely tied to the dollar, such as Tether, and those are really generally stable coins. You're not going to make a lot of money, but they're a safe place to hold your money while you're deciding what to do or if the market's very volatile. So Bitcoin presently leads the path, even though Bitcoin's actually not the best technology. Bitcoin is slower and clunkier. It was the first one. Transactions take longer, it's more expensive, and it uses more energy. Still awesome, but it's not the best technology, yet it's valued the highest at the moment.
Ashley, quick question in the chat said, do you need to use Bitcoin to buy other coins?
So not always. So for example, if you are on Coinbase, I'm just going to go back over here, cancel this transaction. You'll see here at the bottom, it shows buy, and it shows which coin would you like to buy. All of these coins have some purpose. Some of them are the technology that they're representing. Some of them are, like we spoke about a moment ago, they're represented by something physical. But once you've decided the coin that you want, a very, very popular coin right now is Solana. So I'm going to choose that one. And you can see that I can buy this just like I can buy Bitcoin. Now, when you go to trade, there are trade pairs. So let me show you what I mean by this. Let's see, where is let me go over here actually. Speed it up. Okay. So, for example, let's say you want to buy Solana. You're ready to enter the market. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to head over here and I'm going to type in Solana, SOL. Assuming I've already gone to Coinmarketcap, I've done some research, I'm sure that I'm ready. I know what the price should be. I can see here that these are the different things that I can use to purchase Solana. So I can use Bitcoin, I can use the US dollar, So that's one example. Now let me show you what you can use to buy, let's say Cardano. So you can see there's a larger list of pairs. So you can use Ethereum to buy Cardano. You can use Bitcoin to buy Cardano. You can use other, other currencies like dollar, USDC, which is a coin. So these are different ways that you can acquire this, this coin. So sometimes you'll want to buy a coin or trade for a coin, and the pair that you want is not available. So let's say, for example, maybe I want to convert my Cardano to BNB, which is Binance's coin. If that's not supported, I would have to convert it to a coin that it will allow first, such as Bitcoin, and then perform my trade. So that's a longer answer, but basically you can buy other coins besides Bitcoin. When you go to do trading, there's some trade pairing involved. Okay, so there's two primary ways to make your decisions. And one of them is using technical analysis, charts and things like that. Let me see what time it is. And in this case, you could use a tool such as TradingView and use something such as the Ichimoko Cloud to look for multiple time frame analysis. So in this case, I'm going to speak about 4 different time frames. So first, what is this Ichimoku Cloud? Hopefully I'm saying that right. It's a collection of technical indicators that show support and resistance level, as well as the momentum and trend direction. It does this by taking multiple averages and plotting them on a chart. So it was developed in the 60s to help make decisions in terms of patterns and provide some, I guess, assurance that you were making sound decisions when you were performing your trades in the stock market. And that same philosophy can be applied to cryptocurrency. So generally, leverage something called the triple confirmation system. So using the Ichimoku Cloud, the first thing that I'm going to do is make sure that the weekly chart is above a certain level. Then I'm going to make sure the daily is above a certain level. It's above the cloud. Then 4 hours above the cloud. And I'll explain more about this too. I'll include an extra sheet on this. And then I look at the breakout, the 15-minute bar, and then that's when I decide to go in and buy. There are some signals that I also leverage in addition to this. I really like my market cipher. I follow them. And in combination with TradingView, it's pretty powerful. You can follow patterns and it'll show you exactly when in the system's opinion you should buy and sell. So it doesn't require that you rely just on your own pattern understanding. So I'm going to show you TradingView. So charts will become one of your best friends. Some people are more inclined to use charts. Some people are more inclined to use fundamental analysis, and some use both. And there's a purpose for each. So I'm going to talk about that. So that's TradingView. I want to show you the So there's a lot to this, but basically there are buy signals when you leverage this particular pattern. And just like I mentioned a moment ago, you can do some analysis over a period of time and leverage that to decide when it's the safest time to buy. Keep in mind, this is pattern and cryptocurrency is very volatile. So you can definitely do that. That does not mean that you're always going to be successful, because this is a prediction and there are a lot of factors that go into this. So I would never, ever invest more than you can afford to lose. And I would also personally leverage fundamental analysis in addition. So here's what I usually do. So the first option that we just discussed is based on the supply and demand curve, and we're evaluating patterns using technical analysis. This isn't based on the crypto technology, what it does. It's not based on the executive team. It's not based on anything other than our perceived value in the world for this particular coin. So if the world is talking about Doge, for example, it might be really on the rise and people are excited and they want to get in and they want to get involved and you can make a lot of money. But that coin is actually not based on any technology. So in reality, at some point, unless it always maintains this popularity, at some point, most likely that value will taper off. But there are others that are actually based on really sound technologies such as Cardano, Sol, and some others. So that's where fundamental analysis comes into play. So this focuses on what a crypto does, who the executive team is, what is the news saying right now about this? You know, you don't want to go in when people are talking bad about it. And oh, actually you want to go in, you don't want to sell then because it's probably down. And you can use this for short and long-term strategies. So myself, what I do each time is I leverage 4 tools. I look at Coinmarketcap. I look at TradingView. I leverage Money Map Press. This is a tool that I use that has very, very excellent advice and feedback about kind of what's going on in the crypto world. The next thing that I do is I do some fundamental analysis. So I go in, well, I guess that's what I'm doing now. I'm going to Coinmarketcap. I'm looking at Money Map Press to see if there's any news about it. Then I'm going out and I'm looking at the actual technology and I'm seeing what's this made of? Like, why is this important or valuable? So let me see, I have one open here. Where are you? Maybe enough. It's probably back here. Here we go. So yeah, here we go. So for example, not this one. I'm sorry, went to the wrong one. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and go directly to their site. So usually, similar to when you are looking at ICOs, which I'll talk about in a moment, when you're evaluating a technology, considering that we're mostly technical people here, you can really go in and get an idea of what it's supposed to do. You know, who's part of this team, what type of funding have they received, who's leveraging this, and get an idea, you know, based on your own opinion about how sound this technology is and where it might go in the future, as well as, you know, what others are saying about it, and, you know, kind of getting involved in the community and seeing, you know, how popular it is. And those are coins that I would say you're probably going to hold on to for a long time. You don't want to trade emotionally, but you might have an emotional connection to this particular coin and want to include it in your portfolio because you believe in the technology. So this is an example of one of the coins that is based on something of value and also can be built on. So I'm going to head back over here. So like I mentioned a moment ago, we're going to look at the market cap. Right now, Bitcoin's dominance is somewhere around 60% of the overall market. And that's about 900 billion of the 1.5 trillion current market size. Obviously that fluctuates. Okay, so I mentioned already Coinmarketcap TradingView. And here talks through technical analysis. I'm not sure how familiar you are with trading, but you know, you're going to see a lot of these candlesticks, and you can use these to understand where I was going to say stock, but where coin started and where it ended in a certain period of time, you know, the high and low. So a lot of people ask me if you lose money if Bitcoin goes down. And the answer is you only lose money if you decide to sell it for less than you bought it for. I mean, I know that sounds silly, but it's really true. Some people start to panic and they sell. And if you sell when you're down, you're going to lose money. If you hold, you know, if you hold and, you know, mitigate your risk, maybe diversify or, you know, potentially have some other coins, but possibly maybe take just a fraction of it that you've maybe already profited on and potentially sell that. But I generally, I don't sell just because the market's down, unless there's, something such as this technology is, going under or is a scam. So how do I store my crypto? So I mentioned already that you can use Coinbase or Robinhood. Those are online digital wallets. You can also store them offline in cold storage. So this is kind of like having a safe. It's a little device. Sometimes they look like a little thumb drive, USB key. Sometimes they look like a little hard drive. So you can leverage those to store your information and then put it somewhere safe, such as a safety deposit box, a bank vault, or similar. One of the things I would definitely recommend that you do, especially if you're involved in cryptocurrency, is make sure you document where you have everything. How much Bitcoin do you have? Which exchange is this listed on? Where do you have your accounts and your wallet, I should say? Because if something happened to you, your family may have no idea where to go and access this information, and it could be nearly impossible to get it. So document it just in case, and also leveraging things like cold storage can keep you safe if you're not actively trading or staking. So some of you might wonder or have heard the term ICO, and ICOs, they can be very risky, but they can also be very profitable because you can get in generally at a very low price, fractions of a penny or penny 20 cents. So an initial coin offering is very similar to an IPO, but you always want to make sure that you know what it's tied to. So this is where market analysis, fundamental analysis is really important. You need to evaluate who the team is, the executives, review the data, make sure it's legitimate, because there are so many coins that are created that have no purpose other than to be marketed and then, sold so that they can make money, and then just kind of their values diminishes and it just drops out at some point, or comes into light and the press kills the coin off. So another thing that you may have heard about are NFTs. This is an extremely hot topic right now. There is a lot of money to be made in NFTs. I definitely recommend looking into it. So NFTs are digital assets that are stored on a cryptocurrency blockchain. They're like cryptocurrency wallets, but instead of storing a wallet balance, they store a unique asset, like a picture, art, music. It can really be anything, and they can be linked to or stored on a blockchain. So here you can see that these images, these pixel images here, have sold for some extraordinary prices: 7.57 million, 7.58 million, 1.54 million. I'm going to be honest, I have no idea why someone would pay 7.57 million for this. But what I do know is that there is still a very, very large demand, and it might be just they wanted to be first. Who knows? Whatever. It's worth getting involved and checking into and seeing if maybe even you could potentially use some digital assets that could become NFTs. So tokens versus coins. A coin is a native cryptocurrency of a blockchain, such as Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, XRP. And tokens are cryptocurrencies that are created on top of another. Blockchains like Ethereum allow developers to build applications on top of the blockchain with programs called smart contracts. So some of the example tokens are Basic Attention Token, Tether, Chainlink, and many others. So I just included a little detail about the history and some information about these coins. I'm just going to move on past this. So there's an interesting place where you can go and look for coin information besides Coinmarketcap. This is kind of a little summary of when each coin started and what it does in a nutshell, basically. So for example, Dogecoin, here it's based on the Doge internet meme. Okay, that's all it's based on. Whereas Litecoin is one of the first cryptocurrencies to use script as a hashing algorithm. So anyway, just think it's very helpful and handy to go through. I doubt you'll learn all 10,000, but you might learn your favorites. So when you start to trade more and more, you may decide that you want to start saving money, or you may want to buy one of the coins that's not on, let's say, Coinbase or Robinhood. So in that case, there are many other exchanges. And the most important thing is to make sure that they're legitimate, ready to check the news about them, see what user reviews are saying. Just make sure that you're not going to make a deposit and lose at some point access to that deposit. Just being careful, like due diligence. So each of these have different withdrawal fees and let's say trading fees. And sometimes they can get pretty costly. Binance has the lowest cost, I believe, at the moment. So there's some other ways you can save on trading costs. One of them is so a lot of people that just start out, they buy Bitcoin on Coinbase, and that's perfectly fine. And then they transfer that Bitcoin to an exchange that has a certain coin that they want. And once that Bitcoin is transferred, they just exchange one coin for another. But if you do this can get pretty expensive. So what you might want to consider doing is transferring Bitcoin. So transferring Bitcoin between wallets and exchanges can cost more when there are a lot of people on the Bitcoin network. So what you may want to do is transfer it to something such as Litecoin. So if you didn't have to pay the high Bitcoin transaction fee, you could potentially, so let's say Aeon is at 198. If you didn't have to pay the Bitcoin transaction fee, you'd have, in this scenario, an additional 7.24 Aeon coins for every purchase. That can add up, especially if Aeon becomes a profitable coin. And you would have lost out on an extra 362 in profit per transaction. So Bitcoin average transaction fees can be as high as $62.77. So the answer in this case is to use Litecoin to transfer between wallets and exchanges because it's far less expensive. So that may change. That's the cheapest one at the moment. So in here, I've included several other things, which I'm not going to go into today because I don't want to get too complex, but I've included in this presentation some information about what to do in a bear market. There's actually one other thing I wanted to mention to you, and that's dollar cost averaging. So this is making a decision that rather investing all at once, you invest a certain amount regularly over a period of time. And this chart represents what you would actually earn by doing that. So sometimes we'll make decisions emotionally. Dollar cost averaging prevents that. It just makes sure that you're consistently choosing to invest the same amount over some period of time. So for example, in this case, it would have been 600 shares if they had just purchased it at this price point, $10 each. Versus dollar cost averaging, you see that you actually ended up with 678 shares. So for the same investment amount, you end up, much higher, in a much better position. Okay, let's see. Show you one more thing. So when you become more advanced, you can leverage things like trailing stop losses and things like that to protect you. And you can also look into micro futures. Staking is another topic that's mentioned frequently, and that relates to basically you're kind of saying, I'm going to hold this money. I'm not going to trade these coins. And in exchange, well, actually, it involves holding funds in a cryptocurrency wallet to support the security and operations of the blockchain network. So it's like you're locking that cryptocurrency up in order to receive rewards. So in most cases, you'll be able to stake your coins directly from your crypto wallet. And then some actually allow you to do it right on their, on their side of their exchange. So some of those rewards can be as high as 30%. So if you're not looking to, let's say, trade and play in the market, this is a way to potentially receive somewhat of a high return. And there's a lot about proof of stake. So I think that covers the main part of information I wanted to share with you today. So if anyone wants to ask anything, feel free. I'm going to go back to the beginning so you have my email.
We do have, Ashley, a few questions in chat.
Okay.
I figured I can get those out to you first. And of course, if anybody wants to take themselves off mute afterwards, I'm happy to let you guys ask additional questions as well. Let me see. I just want to go really quickly to the ones that I may have missed. Okay. So, okay, we asked those two. Oh, okay. So when you were mentioning Tether at one point, I think it was kind of towards the beginning of your presentation, Richard had asked, what's the benefits of investing in Tether versus investing directly in gold or a fund that invests in gold?
Okay, so, sorry. So I wouldn't actually at the moment leverage Tether. This slide is from a little while ago, but there are some other coins that you can leverage. Let me show you the stable coins, and I'll explain it. So let me show you. One is USDC. So right now, Tether is the leading stable coin by volume. The reason that I'm not recommending it anymore is there was some controversy about whether or not it's really tied to the actual value they're saying they're tied to. So in other words, if they're saying, our Federal Reserve has $400 billion, do we actually have $400 billion or do we only have $200 billion? So there was some, let's say, a little bit of shady documentation about some of their transactions, and that created a lot of distrust. So a lot of people have switched over to USDC, and that's the one that I would recommend now. So why would you leverage USDC over gold? Honestly, I wouldn't. What I would use USDC for would be to keep my cryptocurrency liquid if I were wanting to trade, but I didn't want to. So here's what I mean. Rather than withdraw your money because you see the market crashing, or you just you have this instinct that you want to get out, let's say. So what you can do is you can move your money to USDC and your coins, and then hold it there. It's not going to drop. I mean, it's tied to the dollar. It's pretty safe. And then what'll happen is when you're ready to enter the market again, you can go right back in and perform your trades again. So if you had withdrawn your money, you'd have to wait for a period of time to redeposit your money, to go through the whole verification process, and it takes time. So stable coins are that's just one example of using them, but basically you would use them to keep things stable, in a volatile market. If I were choosing between gold or USDC, I would choose gold because gold can increase in value significantly over the dollar, whereas the USDC is going to stay pretty even with the dollar or Tether. Hopefully that answers that.
Well, thank you, Ashley. And I dropped the link to what you're looking at too in the chat for everybody. So the next question was, what's the smallest fraction that can be bought? And would this transaction or app working worldwide for digital nomads said, does locations affect, or I don't know if I understand the question. It says, does location affect
where you are in the world? Like, can you use every exchange across the world?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So the answer is you can't use every exchange everywhere. There are some exchanges that actually only allow non-US participants. So in those cases, there's not a lot you can do. There are potentially some workarounds, but you can get banned. So the answer is no. You can't use it everywhere if you're a citizen or living somewhere else. But if you have an account and you're just going off to New Zealand for fun and you want to perform some trades and things like that, yes, you can still use the platform wherever you are. And the smallest amount of money that you can get in with, I know you can do $10. Let me see if we can go as low as $5 on Coinbase now. I think so. It might even be $1. They definitely made it much easier. It used to be higher. Okay. some exchanges have a higher requirement. I think eToro, I think, is 500. So do I still have the other one open or did I close it? Well, actually, let's just see. Let's just do, we'll ask Google. Minimum deposit. Okay, it says to verify your account. They're saying $50, but for sure, I know people that have started with $10. My daughter, when she started much less than that. So I'd say $10 just to be safe. Looks like they have $2 there. So, okay, next question.
Let's see. I also see the question of what platforms do you recommend quote unquote staking in?
So let me show you this one. I was going to show you, make sure it's the right one. I remember the name, sorry. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to email you right after. I don't want to tell you the wrong one. And I can literally picture it in my head, but I can't remember the name off the top of my head. So I'll include that. Nikki will include that in the notes if she doesn't mind.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, and if for anybody that's wondering, I know, Ashley, either your presentation or if you have a one page or something that you want to send, I'm happy to get that out to everybody afterwards too. So I know we're right at time. I think, was it Zunaid? I know you had a question that you wanted to ask off mute as well. Did you want to go ahead and do that?
Yes, I have a couple of questions. So number one was the risk. I want to go back to the risk behind cryptos. So S&P 500, it's companies, they're performing, buy, sell, the value goes up and down. Gold, silver, same, like you mentioned, they have value behind it. Depends on how much your gold, silver is in the vaults. With crypto, it's what I'm looking at right now in today's climate. It's all about emotions. Like if Elon Musk says something, it goes up and down. Absolutely. If there's a country who just accepted it like this last week to use it as one of the currencies, it went down. So what's your opinion behind that? Like, what's the risk?
I 100% agree with you. The risk is also the reward. So in this case, cryptocurrency is not regulated yet. People can manipulate the market. There's something called liquidity, and people can use this to their advantage and push a coin up in value, make it appear that it has more value so that it'll gain, let's say, market cap and maybe some press, and people will buy in, and then it wasn't really based on anything. So when they cash back out, that coin drops. So that's an example of what happens in an unregulated market. So I'm just going to give you an example of, I can think of several scenarios where I've invested $100 and made $6,500 from that. So yes, it is risky, but instead of going to Starbucks and things like that, I didn't spend, on pumpkin spice lattes. I just took that money and I would just deposit it into my crypto account. So I would have spent it anyway. So my risk, in my opinion, was nothing. I didn't have coffee. That was it. So that's kind of the strategy that I use. I never invest something that I can't afford. I do know people that don't operate on that strategy. And I will tell you honestly, it is extremely stressful. There's a lot of worry when people borrow to invest, because, anything's possible. So I'm not sure if that really answers your question, but what I would say is that there is still a lot of money to be made in cryptocurrency at the moment. They expect Bitcoin to go to 100,000. Obviously, it's going to go up and down before then, but they do expect the value of crypto to go to 100,000 in the near term and 300,000 in longer term. So imagine, even though crypto now is at the $45,000 range, you can still have quite a return. So there's actually one thing, it's not totally related. I know we're at time. Sorry, I'm going to hurry this. There's one book I wanted to tell you that I read not too long ago, and I really recommend this to all of you. I wish I'd read it when I was 20 years old. Let me show you I think this is it. It's Chris Galiboo, I think it is, if you guys know who he is. He's the startup or the side hustle. It comes up. Financial freedom. Where are you, Chris? I'm sorry. I just want to show you this. Okay, it's this one right here. this book talks about compound interest and how investing, let's say we want a new car. Well, you could ask yourself, how many hours of my life am I willing to trade for that car? So when we buy a car, this book explains how technically we could be spending $400,000 on that car between what we could have earned if we had invested that money. So I really, really recommend this book. It's awesome. And like I said, I wish I'd read it when I was a kid. I recommend it to us to make our kids read it. Anyway, sorry I went over, but thank you all for your time.
No, thank you so much, Ashley. I mean, as always, you're really a good wealth of knowledge. I know that we actually have quite a bit of like questions still in chat and stuff. So I'd love if you could drop your email in chat for anybody that's interested. And then of course, if you have information, like I said, either the slide or one pagers, any links you want to share, I'm happy to get that out to everybody. I know, again, this has been a very hot topic, so we will definitely do something again. I think that people would love to hear from you again, Ashley, if you're interested in doing a part two.
I would love to.
Yeah, just because I know there's so many questions still in chat there. So thank you again for everybody that showed up today. I did have to say that I did see in the chat, somebody also dropped a funny there that said, please do not use your kids' college fund to invest in this. So yes,
no,
not using your coffee money is much smarter. So thank you guys again for everybody that showed up. Thank you, Ashley, of course, you're always a wealth of knowledge, and hopefully we will see everybody soon.
See you soon. Thank you, everyone. Take care.
Thanks, everybody.